Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally in Trinidad and Tobago, 2 days ago, a Facebook page named TRINIDAD asked whether Kamala Persad-Bissessar, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar, was the worst Prime Minister Trinidad and Tobago has ever had. And the comment section got hot very fast. Plenty of people said yes, but just as many came back with another strong take that while Kamala was the worst, Patrick Manning was the best. They went on to ask this question: was Patrick Manning really the greatest Prime Minister Trinidad and Tobago ever had? Or is nostalgia doing plenty of the heavy lifting? My response: no, he wasn't the best. The tribal patriots set the stage for Rowley to destroy Trinidad and Tobago. I've even told individuals on the ground report that in the past, when they say, well, Manning. I said, Manning, nothing. Manning is the one that closed down Caroni. Manning was pushing tribalism just like Rowley. It's just that Rowley came and took things to a greater extreme. He was worse. I'm not saying no. Manning was way better than Rowley, but he was definitely not the best Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. I said PNM in general has been a destructive force from its inception in the 1950s. Williams, Chambers, Manning, and Rowley all played their part in closing down our state-owned companies and also mismanaged our nation's economy. By the time Chambers ended his term in office in 1986, our once wealthy nation had become bankrupt, and that's why Trinidadians voted overwhelmingly for Robinson, A.N.R. Robinson, and the NAR party. Minister of Homeland Security Roger Alexander is urging the public to do their part in securing their communities by partnering with law enforcement, noting that safe neighborhoods cannot be achieved if citizens withhold potentially life-saving information. In an interview with Guardian Media in which he responded to questions on the crime wars affecting the country, Alexander acknowledged that murders were continuing even as the state of emergency remains in effect. Wow, I told you all over and over again. And so he cannot prevent crime. It may reduce it for a while, but it's not going to stop it. And when you remove it once again, it's even going to escalate even more. You cannot govern a nation like that, people. My response: you also need, now I agree with him with what he's saying to an extent, but then Roger Alexander also has to understand, people are fearful for their lives. You go and complain and make a report about criminals in your neighborhood now. See if you end up waking up the next day somehow or the other. Sometimes it's even because it's police in the police station selling you out. Nah, that's quite all right. My response, though, we also need to beg the TTPS to stop grooming so many criminals within the law enforcement agency. You have good intentions, Roger Alexander. I ain't gonna lie. I'm seeing it more and more that you have good intentions, but you're not acknowledging the significant amount of lawlessness and corruption that exists within the TTPS itself. The day you acknowledge that, and the day you start to hold your former colleagues accountable for their actions, and the day that you demand that body cameras are worn by all your former colleagues, is the day that you will become a really effective Minister of Homeland Security. Significant improvements are on the way for the constituency of Kamuto, Manzanilla, my constituency, finally. But anyhow, I hope the MP remembers, when I went, I didn't get to see her personally, but I hope they remember my request for Lindsay Street in Sani Grande, which is a side street, the final street off of Gilk Street, which connects also to Baker Trace. Our street lights have been off. We don't have any street lights for over 2-3 years now. Of course, we have to blame the PNM as well. But nevertheless, and also the big pothole that is like a swimming pool at the corner of Lindsay and Gilk Street. It needs to be fixed, people, and do it the proper way this time. When you just go and pave that in 6 months, it's going to be a big pothole again. Put some kind of concrete structure there. Anyhow, back to the report. This according to the area's Member of Parliament, Shavana Sam, my MP, who revealed upcoming infrastructural works and programs focus on youth development, which is wonderful news, of course. Water supply continues to be a major concern for residents of Kamuto Manzanilla as well. Well, thankfully not in my district, but in other areas, yes. But its Member of Parliament, Shavana Sam, says relief is on the way with the planned establishment of 2 new tank farms in the area. So you're going to get assistance wherever you are. Last week, during the post-cabinet media briefing, Minister of Public Utilities Barry Padarath outlined the plans for several tank farms across the country aimed at addressing ongoing water challenges. Didn't hear anything like this under the PNM. You know what the PNM was telling you to do instead? Conserve on the waters. I used to make a joke and tell people, use a 2-liter bottle of water to bathe. Jed.
So far, the main complaints we've had are related to water issues, road infrastructure, basic amenities that citizens really want to see improvement in. And one of the major announcements we have, one of the major projects taking place in the constituency, and the Minister of Public Utilities would have announced this earlier on this week, is that we're having the establishment of a tank farm, 2 tank farms in the constituency, and that is going to bring much needed relief to residents who have experienced unreliable water supply. So that project is coming online soon.
Meanwhile, she added that work has already begun on improving recreational grounds within the constituency as part of a broader push to enhance community spaces.
Very recently, TNTech would have done an audit at all of the recreation grounds, and so we are going to repair all of the lighting that is currently non-functional in these grounds. So that has also started to happen as well. We are working with Sport TT closely for further upgrades in terms of improving pavilions, drainage on grounds, and so on.
She noted that several other initiatives are still to be rolled out, with plans in the pipeline for sectors such as agriculture and education, as efforts continue to drive development across the constituency. Nicole Duki, TTT News.
Weather forecast for Trinidad and Tobago. Tuesday, April 7, 2026. General conditions. Mostly cloudy with intermittent sunshine and periods of passing showers. Temperatures. High 30 degrees Celsius 86 degree Fahrenheit. Low 23 degrees Celsius 73 degree Fahrenheit. Hourly outlook. 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, cloudy with light rain 24 degrees Celsius. 10 o'clock to 1300 hours, partly sunny, chance of a shower 28 degrees Celsius. 1400 hours to 1700 hours, passing showers, mostly cloudy 29 degrees Celsius. 1800 hours to 2100 hours, mostly cloudy, light breeze 25 degrees Celsius. 2200 hours to 0 hours, overcast, humid 23 degrees Celsius. Key details. Rain chance, 20% during the day to 10% at night. Humidity, high 71% day to 88% night. Winds, easterly at 15 to 20 kilometers per hour. UV index 8 high, sun protection recommended between 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Marine information and tides. Sea conditions, moderate, waves 2.0 meters to 2.5 meters in open waters, 1.0 meters in sheltered areas. Port of Spain tides, low 12:33 a.m. to high 6:40 a.m. to low 1:34 p.m. to high 8:13 p.m. Scarborough tides, low 12:03 a.m. to high 6:13 a.m. to low 1:18 p.m. to high 7:42 p.m.
Regional news now. Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa, MP Minister of Agriculture in Guyana, met with rice farmers to address urgent concerns regarding threatened crops yesterday. I guess it's because of the bad weather. Addressing the gathering, Minister Mustafa highlighted the importance of the UPL crop insurance scheme, noting that registered farmers will be compensated to mitigate their risks. The Ministry of Agriculture and the NDIA are not just observing, they are acting. Once again, it's because of the Irfan Ali administration. We are closely monitoring the water levels and infrastructure to protect as much acreage as possible. For JN Foundation and St. John Ambulance Jamaica, ongoing visits to Hurricane Melissa battered communities in Western Jamaica have reinforced a sense of resolve rather than fatigue. With the next hurricane season only 3 months away, I can imagine how they're dreading that, boy, Lord. So with the next hurricane season only 3 months away, persistent needs in remote areas have deepened their commitment to continue serving vulnerable populations. Some of the mainly small farming communities remain without basic amenities. Wow, months later, I could just imagine how those individuals feeling in that area, boy. Feeling abandoned, which in some cases are challenges that exist before the storm. Harmony Hall, nestled between Magoti and the maroon town of Akompong in northern St. Elizabeth, is one of those communities. Although budding leaves on pimento trees hint at recovery and resilience, the absence of electricity, limited water supply, and distant health services leave residents highly exposed to future climatic shocks like Hurricane Melissa. Home to about 200 people, the hillside community was visited in March by the JN Foundation and its partner, St. John Ambulance Jamaica. For many residents, the Shiloh Apostolic Church has become a central refuge. Despite damage to its roof, the church has remained open, offering not only spiritual guidance, but also practical support to the entire community. We continue to pray for the people of Jamaica, especially in those rural areas that are seeming as though they are getting assisted last. Near the Irfan, the Andrew Holness administration needs to do a lot more. Step up your game, brother, sir. I think you are a good prime minister, but you just need to do even more for your people in a shorter space of time. The Barbados Autism Association has secured a permanent home after 21 years of operation, marking a significant step forward in support services for persons on the autism spectrum. This is wonderful news again. And we have to give credit. I mean, come on, people. Prime Minister Mia Mottley seems to be really doing a good job in her country. And maybe that's why the people continue to vote for her in such an overwhelming way. Yes, I have my issues with her. She's a globalist, or appears to be a globalist, and she doesn't support the Kamala Prasad administration. She seems to lean on the leftist side of government, and also she doesn't really support the Americans either. But she's doing a good job in her country. The new facility located at the corner of Darrells Road and Garrison Road, St. Michael, opened on Thursday night and will serve as both the organization's headquarters and life skills training center, aimed at improving independence among its members. President of the Barbados Autism Association, Frederick Johnson, described the opening as a major milestone built on years of advocacy and support from government. He sees the government helping them, partners, donors, and of course, families. This building is more than walls and rooms. It is a place where children, teens, and adults with autism can feel safe, understood, and valued for who they are, he said. Johnson stressed that autism must be understood rather than treated as something to be corrected. Our job as families, as a community, is not to change autistic people, but to create spaces and give them tools enabling them and their families to contribute to society, you concluded. International news now. President Trump jokes about running for president in Venezuela after his term ends in the United States. But I thought he wanted a third term. Just always try to find a way to provoke the Democrats. I love it. I love it. He said, I'm polling higher than anybody ever has polled in Venezuela. After I'm finished with this, I can go to Venezuela. I will quickly learn Spanish. It won't take too long. I'm going to run for president. And you know, mainstream media are going to take that and run with it and say, you see, no kings, no kings, no kings, Lord Father. I feel this man used to do like real trolling and things like that in his school days. Don't lie, man. The man is a professional. I call him the trolling chief. Israel launched another attack on Iran's South Pars petrochemical facility on Monday, striking the world's largest natural gas field for the second time since the start of the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz confirmed the strike, stating that the military carried out a powerful strike on the largest petrochemical facility in Iran, located in Asaluya, a central target responsible for about 50% of the country's petrochemical production. So basically, it has already begun. Trump's warning to Iran wasn't taken, wasn't accepted, wasn't observed, recognized. They said they don't want any ceasefire. It seems as though the Trump administration and, of course, Israel has decided, well, you know what? We are going to take more decisive action. Now for the interesting fact segment. Back in 2016, some Uber drivers in China found a clever loophole to earn money without driving. They used creepy profile photos and strange names to make riders uncomfortable, increasing the chances of trip cancellations. Don't try that here. All right. Chinese like to follow everything. Don't use my video to try and follow that. Each cancelled ride meant a fee paid to the driver without ever picking up a passenger. Some reportedly repeated the trick all day. Once Uber discovered the tactic, it quickly stepped in and shut it down. But not before drivers had taken advantage of the system for weeks. The report didn't go on to say whether the drivers got to keep that money or not. Seems as though they did.
Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News Travel Adventures. The ultimate guide to visiting Glacier National Park. Glacier National Park in Montana is a premier wilderness destination featuring over 700 miles of trails, pristine alpine lakes, and dramatic glacier-carved peaks. Famous for the 50-mile, scenic Going to the Sun Road, visitors can explore multiple areas like Many Glacier and 2 Medicine to spot grizzly bears, moose, and mountain goats. Key travel details. Best time to visit: midsummer to early fall. Late July to early September is ideal, as high-elevation roads like Going to the Sun Road are fully open, although snow can still limit access early in the season. Key areas. West Glacier Lake McDonald, close to the airport and popular for boating and dramatic sunset views. Many Glacier, known for premier hiking trails like Grinnell Glacier. 2 Medicine, a quieter hidden gem area for a more secluded experience. Top activities: hiking the Highline Trail, boat tours, and ranger-led programs. Access requirements: as of 2026, vehicle reservations will no longer be required for the Going to the Sun Road, though it's important to check official EMS alerts for the latest construction and access updates. Transportation: a private vehicle is essential to explore the various, far-flung areas of the park. Where to stay? Lodging: historic lodges like Lake McDonald Lodge and Many Glacier Hotel operate inside the park, along with several campgrounds. Outside the park, Kalispell, nearest airport, offers easy access to West Glacier, while St. Mary serves the east side. Important tips. Wildlife awareness: this is grizzly country, so carrying bear spray and knowing how to use it is essential. Planning: the park is vast and travel between areas can take hours. Plan to spend at least 5 days and stay on both the east and west sides. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you again tomorrow as our journey around the world continues.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's headline news. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe, most of all. In Jesus' name,